Libra 2020 horoscope. Welcome, dear friends. This is an astrology prediction for people who have their sun or rising sign in Libra. If that's the case, and if that's you, then prepare, because 2020 is gonna be a very important year for you guys. We have this conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, also Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. And this is kind of the main topic of the year. Everyone is talking about it. But we are gonna analyze how is that gonna affect you personally. On top of that, your ruler, Venus, is gonna be retrograde during 2020, and it doesn't happen each year. Mars is also gonna be retrograde. The nodes are ingressing in new signs. So this year is gonna be a major transformational period for many people, but especially for you guys. Before that, just very quick announcement, the 2020 astrology calendar is available now. If you want to get daily insights about visible and invisible planets, ingressions, aspects, lunations, and so much more, make sure to get yourself a copy of it. The link is below the video. Now let's begin our journey. Let's start with the great benefactor, the most positive planet in astrology, the planet which we are always kind of observing and hoping for the best to receive. Of course, I'm talking about Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be in Capricorn most of the 2020. And for you guys, it triggers fourth house. So overall, fourth house is an area for you where you can expand, you can grow, you can be successful. And honestly, many things are going to trigger your fourth house. So we are going to talk a lot about it. And fourth house represents mostly your personal life. Those are all kinds of family stuff, the family members, but also the place where you live, properties. And on a more spiritual level, fourth house represents your deepest desires, or kind of the inner child within you. It could be related in a way to karma, especially because of those kind of blood connections with our relatives. So those are some topics that you can explore during 2020. And you may grow, you may expand, you may do something new in those areas. For example, relocate, move to another place. And it's interesting because Jupiter brings the expansion. And when we talk about expansion and home, one option is you move to a new home, which is bigger, with larger space, or more prestigious. But another option could be that some family member is moving out of the house, and now in your current home, you just have more space. I have seen both of those working in horoscopes, so you might decide which is more relevant to your life situation. But in one way or another, family and home can be a source of inspiration, an area where you can grow, or you might be more fulfilled, more successful. That includes also property issues. So buying a new house or investing in another property, that's also something great for this upcoming year. We also need to mention that Jupiter is not the only planet in your fourth house, and that's important because Saturn is going to be there, but not all of the time. So that's one of the big shifts we have during 2020. Between January and March, Saturn is in your fourth house, and between July and December, the middle of December. And those are periods when from one side you might be tested, or you may need to work harder for something. And with Jupiter and Saturn kind of chasing each other in your fourth house, it's time to, find the sweet spot between the expansion, but also finding the stability in this area of your life. So at the same time, being optimistic, but realistic as well. So where are you on that scale? And there might be some kind of ups and downs through the year. But with Saturn in fourth house, you may also be supported to reconstruct something at your home. If there is something that needs to be repaired, probably it requires work. And with Saturn, we are kind of expecting this, need to work harder on something, to put some extra efforts. But that would be a nice way to work with the transit overall. So what needs to be recreated or rebuilt in your home? That's a big question. And the responsibilities are there. So you may feel the need also to have more stability related to your home, the people who live together with you, the place where you live, and so much more. And for property issues, Saturn is very positive impact. So if you want to invest, if you want to work hard on rebuilding or repairing something, that's a positive one. And the shift comes around the end of March, basically after the 22nd, because Saturn will ingress your fifth house. Saturn is moving to Aquarius, and it's there between March and June, and after the middle of December. Saturn in fifth house can have a different impact for you. So from one side, it's positive because it will trine your own sign Libra. So you may find yourself more organized, more disciplined, more focused, patient, willing to, follow through in terms of your responsibilities. But Saturn in fifth house also can make you more serious when it comes to romantic stuff, love stuff, creativity as well. And we know that sometimes Saturn can bring blockages, but it doesn't mean that you won't have love. It's not the case. What's important is that Saturn does not like superficial, shallow things. So flirting, just seeing many people at the same time, this type of more superficial kind of communication won't be supported by Saturn. So there might be a smaller number of potential partners, but on the positive side, they might be much more serious. So there might be one or two real opportunities, but they have the chance to be much more valuable and reliable people. So Saturn in fifth house also can require more attention when it comes to responsibilities with kids. So some people may really need to, take care more of their children. And I have also received many questions about Saturn in fifth house. Does it mean that you cannot have kids or anything like that during this transit? Absolutely not. So like one of my teachers used to say, Saturn in fifth house is not a contraception. So don't rely on it. People get pregnant with Saturn in fifth house. And if that happens, it means that you need to be very responsible. Maybe you need to take care more of yourself. Maybe it won't be just, like the easiest experience, but it will help you also to become more mature. And you may feel like, you need to be more responsible for your kids. That includes also all kinds of creative activities, art, and Saturn in fifth house may not bring you this type of, inspiration when, the creativity is just flowing smoothly. But on the other side, it can help you to create some kind of habits or to be more hardworking when it comes to creativity. Sometimes there might be blocks, but it also depends on what you're doing with, all of those energies. And one more thing is that Saturn in fifth house does not support taking serious risks. So you may find yourself more cautious, trying to prepare more, to plan things, not taking so many, impulsive risks or decision. But that's, I think, more on the positive side of the transit. Next, we are moving to the other important transit of Saturn, which will be in conjunction with Pluto. That happens only once during 2020 on the 12th of January, triggering your fourth house again. So this is an aspect which may really make you explore deeper the history of your family or your own past, your own childhood. Definitely a very serious combination. So you might be quite serious when it comes to the issues of your personal life. There might be a need to rebuild something, for a reconstruction. And for some people, this could be a time to work more on their family relationships. So it is possible to have some kind of challenges related to your family members, to your home, or to feel like you need to do something there, like you need to transform. And Saturn and Pluto is a combination that requires transformation of your rules, of your principles. So what did you do so far, and which were the concrete rules that you have followed? Maybe coming from your tradition, maybe from the culture or your own family, but those things might be questioned right now, and you may really need to transform something there. The other aspect that Pluto is having is with Jupiter. So again, your fourth house is activated, but this time we're talking about 3 exact conjunctions: April, June, and November. And this is a time when, again, the main topic is transformation, but also expansion. Jupiter and Pluto can bring incredible success. So we're talking about something in very big scale. And this could also be a transformation, for example, like having a child. That's kind of a very good combination, actually. Jupiter expands, so you have more family members. And Pluto brings this transformation that, honestly, kids, they can really transform your life. So this is a combination that can bring, for some people, new children or other serious transformative event related to your home, which allows you to grow at the same time, and which changes your philosophy, which changes your belief system. So this conjunction between Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, it's about transformation of belief system and rules, your own principles. All of that triggering your personal life, your home, your family, and your children as well, all kinds of, important people in your life. And yes, both of those planets, Jupiter and Saturn, are squaring Libra. So it's kind of a testing period for you guys. But I always like to remind people the challenging aspects, they bring the real opportunity for growth and for making a drastic change in your life. So it's not just time to relax for you. This is not the year when you should try to, distract yourself or distance yourself from the outer world. No, you should take action, you should be initiative, and you should really do the needed work. But overall, this is a combination which can really bring you this type of growth. Next, we also need to mention that Jupiter and Saturn are gonna be in conjunction. So we said they're chasing each other through the whole year, basically, in your fourth house. But the exact conjunction is in your fifth house at the end of the year. That's happening on the 21st of December in your fifth house. So that's a supportive one. That's a positive aspect, which can help you to grow, which can help you to expand, and at the same time to build up something stable, something which can have a long-term impact in your life. And fifth house is the area which is triggered so much. So creativity, everything that you love, everything that you enjoy doing, your kids, your hobbies, your romantic life. This is an area where there might be the beginning of a new cycle, something new which begins for you. And It could be quite interesting, keeping in mind that there is a trine with your own sign. Next, we are moving to the next big one, the next ingression of the node. So until the 5th of May, the North Node is in your 10th house and the South Node is in your 4th house. So North Node in 10th house suggests growth when it comes to career, when it comes to business, or some social activities, something that is visible for other people. On the other side, the South Node in 4th may suggest that you need to rely more on your own foundation, on your personal life, on your family support. It may not be that easy to find so much time, and you may need to focus more on the other house, on the 10th house, but that will change. So that's only until the 5th of May. After the 5th of May, the North Node will change into your 9th house. And that, my friends, is a very positive, very harmonious position. It's a time for learning. It's time to expand your worldview. It's time to search for new perspectives about life, to explore future opportunities, to set some new goals, to work more on developing a philosophical way of thinking. And on the other side, the South Node in 3rd house might suggest that you shouldn't concentrate so much on the present situation and what's happening right now. You should keep in mind more the long-term perspective, the long-term goal that you have. But I think there is a great harmony between the position of the nodes in 3rd and 9th house, because the main idea of the nodes is growth, area where I can learn something, area where I can expand. And it's kind of similar to the 9th, 3rd house axis. It's again about knowledge, it's about wisdom, it's about exploration. So whenever your 3rd and 9th house are activated by the nodes, and it doesn't really matter which of the nodes in which house is. So the point is that the axis is, mutually activated. It's always a nice period. It's always a time when you can grow through learning, through exploring. So just enjoy the time. And when we talk about the nodes, of course, the next question is, when are we having the eclipses? You know, guys, that the eclipses are including the nodes. And we have 6 of them during 2020. The first one on the 10th of January, the very beginning, activates your 10th house. There is a lunar eclipse which triggers your 10th house. So some changes, some transformations specifically related to your career and business. Then during the summer, we have 3 eclipses in a row between the 5th of June and the 5th of July. But different houses are triggered by each of those eclipses. The first one is a lunar, activating mostly your 3rd house. So what can you change in terms of your daily life, in terms of your way of thinking, or maybe your contacts, the social area, the way of communication? Then on the 21st of June, there is a solar eclipse, and that triggers your 10th house. So it's kind of a new beginning when it comes to your career, your public activities, or your own business. And the last summer eclipse on the 5th of July, it's in your 4th house, and it's a lunar eclipse. So changes and transformations, or some kind of materialization of ideas related to your personal life, home, family, and properties. And the last 2 eclipses are at the end of the year. On the 30th of November, lunar eclipse in 9th house. So transformation when it comes to your belief system, your worldview, your long-term goals, what needs to be fixed or what needs to be improved. Those are the main questions. And the last eclipse for the year on the 14th of December, solar eclipse in your 3rd house. So kind of a new period when it comes to contacts, communication with other people, socializing, or some kind of ideas that you might have. So that's the picture about the eclipses, and we are moving forward with one of the really significant transits through the whole year for you guys. Venus, your own ruler, is turning retrograde, something which we observe once in 18 months, so not every year. And this year we are gonna have it between the 12th of May and the 24th of June. Venus is retrograde in Gemini between the 22nd and the 5th degree, triggering your 9th house. The good news here is that while Venus is in Gemini, it will trine your sign, it will trine Libra. So it might help you to dive deeper into your own emotions, to understand better your own feelings, to explore, to reflect. That's the positive side. On the other hand, with Venus retro in 9th house, you need to be more cautious when it comes to your long-term plans, your long-term future, or the vision that you have for yourself in the future. Traveling or education or communication with foreigners, those are areas which might create some kind of frustration or lack of balance and harmony. So you need to work harder there, or you need to reassess something, or you might be over emotional when it comes to all of those topics in your life. On the plus side, this transit may help you to go back to some of your previous goals, to reconsider, to restart, to refocus again on a previous goal that you have had in the past. If you have had a love relationship abroad or with a foreigner in the past, this could be restarted right now. So don't hesitate to call someone you have loved, someone who is far away. Who knows, it might be the time that actually both of you may look at the situation from a different perspective. And overall, when the ruler of your sign is retrograde, it's better to avoid important new beginnings, important new projects, especially when it comes to your personal life. So new relationships, marriage, it's one of the first things that we say should not be on the list, definitely. And all kinds of other things, even related to art, may not be that supportive. So for example, if you're an artist, you're planning an exhibition or something like that, do not plan it for the Venus retrograde period. Then we are moving to the next interesting retrograde period. This time we talk about Mars between the 9th of September and the 12th of November. Mars will be in a very strong sign position in Aries, the sign of its rulership, and the retrograde motion is between the 28th and the 15th degree. In your chart, Libra, it triggers 7th house, a very important house in the chart, and house which is related to relationships, partnerships, marriage, also business relationships, and your appearance in front of other people. So, for example, if you work with clients, if you work with a business partner, this is also triggered by Mars retrograde. Overall, do not start brand new things in those areas. So no marriages, not positive for new relationships, not positive for new business partnerships. Be cautious for possible confrontations or lack of harmony, or people acting weird or overreacting. So you might be provoked by others, especially if your sun or ascendant sign is between, basically in the second half of the sign, between the 15th and the 28th degree. If that's the case, it means that Mars will have an opposition. So you may be provoked by other people. You might be kind of stressed. So do not plan some important negotiations, or don't initiate those type of, conversations which are supposed to clear things out, because probably it would not work as you have planned it. So it's around 2 months, and I recommend you just to be more careful with other people especially. The last retrograde period that we have to discuss is Mercury. Mercury, which is retrograde 3 times or 4 times, depends. This time we have 3 cycles. The first one, February, March, Mercury is retrograde in your 6th and 5th house. So you need to be more careful with your work, with your health, and with your obligations, and also with your personal stuff, romantic life, kids, and creativity. Then during June and July, we have the next retrograde cycle, which triggers a very important house in your chart. It's 10th house. So you need to be very careful with your career, with your business, and I wouldn't recommend you to start new business projects or to start a new, basically anything which you want to be visible and appreciated by other people. And the last one, the last retrograde phase of Mercury is October and November, and this is also an important one because it triggers your 1st and 2nd house. So finances, resources, but also anything that you are doing on your own, anything that you are doing independently. So the 3rd cycle of Mercury retrograde is probably the most important one for you, but the 2nd is important as well. And overall, we know Mercury retrograde is just not beneficial for brand new things, for starting new things that you would like to be long lasting, or to, you know, to move as you have planned in a way. And now, guys, we are moving to the outer planets. We begin with Uranus, which is in Taurus between the 3rd and the 11th degree. Uranus won't have a major aspect with Libra. It's important in the cases when the cusp of your 8th house is between the 3rd and the 11th degree. And if that's the case, you have to be very careful with risk taking, especially when it comes to financial risks. Uranus in 8th house can make you more impulsive when it comes to those decisions. There might be lack of stability in regards to mutual finances or investments. There is a chance also for some kind of breakthrough. Uranus always brings that as an opportunity. So surprisingly, something may change in a positive direction when it comes to those mutual finances and resources and investments. But be cautious with Uranus. You can never really know until the end. And as I said again, with risk taking, I don't recommend things that can potentially hurt your body, like extreme sports or something like that, which can, you know, be dangerous for your health, basically. Then we have Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces between the 16th and the 21st degree in your 6th house. So again, no major aspect with Libra, but that would be important if the cusp of your 6th house is between the 16th and the 21st degree. It means that Neptune is in conjunction with the cusp of your 6th house, and that can have a complicated or mixed impact. So the positive side is more creativity, more inspiration at work, desire to help other people with your work, with your actions, to, you know, be kind of more more compassionate also with others. But on the challenging side, Neptune in 6th house can bring, first of all, health complications, allergies, some kind of substance abuses, or sensitivity to some kind of substances or drugs. And also when it comes to work, there might be some kind of complications, like people doing something behind your back or some kind of secrets. Not for everyone, of course, that's just an option. There are many other things you need to explore, but these are some of the things we have on the list about Neptune in 6th house. And the last aspect that we have, which is kind of the most important, Pluto in Capricorn between the 22nd and the 25th degree. And that, my friends, is especially important if your sun or rising sign is in the same degrees in Libra. It would mean that Pluto will square your sun or rising sign, and that's a time of serious transformation. That's time to explore, to dive deeper, to release, to let go, to transform. And there might be also some serious changes when it comes to your home, your family. For example, secrets might be revealed, or you may feel like you need to work with some of your childhood memories, or you need to let go or heal a story, a situation from your childhood, from your family history. And I always recommend people, if you have any Pluto challenges, one of the best options for you are the energy practices. Yoga, Tai Chi, Reiki, EFT, they are all energy methods, and they can help you to process this energy much easier. So that's the most important, guys. As you can see, fourth house is really the most triggered area in your chart. So fourth house, but also 10th and 9th house, they are all triggered. Fifth house at the end of the year. So personal life, your own history, but at the same time, your perspective about the future, your direction, maybe even your desire to move somewhere. You know, this type of combinations, when something triggers fourth and ninth house, and in your case, fourth house is triggered by Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Ninth house, it's triggered by the North Node. This combination for some people may mean relocation, changing home, or drastically changing one's worldview. So it is a transformative year. It's time for self-exploration with Venus retrograde. So dive deeper. That would be my advice. And if you would like to have this presentation, it's available. I can send it to you. Just type your email in the comments and you will receive it later. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget, if you want to have the 2020 astrology calendar, the link is below. And I would like to ask you to let me know what you are most excited for in 2020. Is there something that you are waiting? Is there something that you are wondering how it can manifest? Let us know and let's connect. Thank you so much for your time. I'm wishing you an amazing 2020, and we'll catch up really soon.